On this episode, we have Sangeetha Sivakumar, Carnatic vocalist.
I grew up listening to the music of MS Subbulakshmi. As a child, I remember vividly how my father used to play some cassette or the other of MS songs every day in my home, which was then in Kochi, Kerala. I used to know all the Annamacharya songs from her record by heart, even before I started formally training in Carnatic music. MS Amma, as she was fondly referred by the whole Carnatic music fraternity, was my idol and inspiration to take up Carnatic music as a profession and pursue this art form seriously. In my younger days of my learning, what mesmerized me was her voice, her golden voice. Later, when I moved to Chennai in the 1980s to pursue my music career, I had the good fortune to listen to her live concerts. I had listened to her live just once before when I was very young in Kochi. Seeing her on stage perform live was another whole experience, and there was this feeling of one being witness to something divine, a very, very surreal experience. In Chennai, as I progressed along the way of my musical journey, listening to the legends and assimilating from their music was a huge part of my musical growth. MS Amma did have a huge impact on my understanding of the art form. I began to internalize her music and understand the complexity of her musical process. I came to realize how much input, how much thought and rigor has gone into making that music that she seemed to render with so much ease. Personally, for me, some very important takeaways from her music are: one, her voice, that quality of aritham or gravitas that she had, and at the same time, crystal clear and so perfectly aligned to the shruti of the tambura. The way she traversed the range of octaves and how she vocalized in the higher octaves was very unique, open-throated but soothing. And I think this was something that every woman musician tried to emulate. And most importantly, she maintained that same quality of her voice right till the very end. Her singing of compositions. Compositions form a major part of the Carnatic music concert, and the way she rendered any song, whether it was a Muthuswami Dikshithar composition or a Tamil Pasuram, a Purandaradasa Kannada Padam or a Kshetrajna Telugu Padam, the importance she gave to the Padhantaram. Padhantaram meaning the way a composition is learned from a guru and passed on over many generations. And this was something that MS Amma never compromised while performing on stage or ever. With her clear enunciation of the lyrics, each kriti or composition was presented like a beautiful gem, chiseled and shaped to perfection. Basically, any enthusiastic music student who wanted to learn a new composition just had to listen to a MS Amma's recording. When you listen to any song sung by her, you always get a sense of completeness. It was so perfect. And then her Manodharma. Manodharma can be loosely translated to the improvisation aspects of our music, which is also another very important component. And the way she explored the Manodharma is a whole lesson by itself for music students. Here, I would like to highlight one point which was personally close to my heart. Her sense of alavu or proportion was remarkable. And this is a concept which, again, many musicians always seek in their learning of the Carnatic music genre. The right sense of proportion in singing the technicalities, whether it's a gamaka or a briga or even a swaraprastara or even a composition or a whole raga alapana itself. And I believe this innate sense of proportion which underlines all this in the music. And I think this plays a huge role in understanding this very sound of Carnatic music. And this happens right from a micro to a macro level. This aspect of her music was indeed a very, very significant influence in my interpretation of the form. I also see her as probably one of the first feminists in the patriarchal setup of our Carnatic music field, when she had the guts to enter a Brahmin male domain in the early 20th century and ended up ruling it. For me, she was the epitome of Carnatic music. And I will conclude by singing a small excerpt from a Tyagaraja composition in Ragam Kamboji. Om Rangashahi Om Rangashahi Pili Chite Om Yanutsu Ram Ram Da Om Rangashahi Pili Chite Om Yanutsu Ram Ram